If you're one of those who've been thinking that Ethiopia exports only coffee, it's time to tighten your belt, for this East African nation has quietly become one of the world's biggest flower suppliers. We are talking about a desert country that now grows more roses than most of Europe combined. Do you know that just last February, when couples across the globe got Valentine's gift, something incredible was happening 7,000 miles away? In Ethiopia's highlands, workers harvested over 4,500 tons of flowers in just 3 weeks. That's enough flour to fill 180 shipping containers. A country where many people live on less than $2 a day is now supplying romance to the world's richest nations. There's this Ethiopian proverb that says, little by little an egg will work. That's exactly what's happening here. Step by step, Ethiopia is working its way to the global market in the most unexpected way possible. Do you know that Ethiopia is now transacting about 600 million worth of fresh flowers? That's crazy, right? And it's making Ethiopia the 5th largest exporter of flowers in the world. And at the level of the motherland, Ethiopia is now the 2nd largest flower exporter in Africa, breathing down Kenya's neck for the top spot. This industry has created over 180,000 jobs, and here's what's revolutionary: 85% went to women. In a continent where women struggle for economic opportunities, Ethiopia created an entire industry basically run by women. But the most shocking part is the fact that Ethiopia started flower farming almost by accident. Before 2024, floriculture was almost non-existent in Ethiopia. Yeah, 20 years ago, this industry literally didn't exist. Export earnings grew from $0.32 in 2003 to $422.3 million by 2019. That's over 1,000 times growth in less than 2 decades. This wasn't some grand government plan, alright. Smart investors looked at Ethiopia and saw what others missed. We are talking of year-round perfect weather, cheap labor cost, and Ethiopian airlines that could fly fresh flowers anywhere within hours. If you don't know, Ethiopian airline is one of the busiest in Africa. Now, while doing my research, I noticed this lady Birke who works 6 days a week on a flower farm outside Addis Ababa. Now, she said since getting this job, she's no longer dependent on her husband when she wants to buy basic things at the market. So for her, those flowers aren't just decoration, right? They are actually freedom. So stay with me for a minute. I'll show you why this changes everything about African development. Ethiopia's flower industry generates 15% of the country's total export earnings. And flowers have become the 2nd leading foreign exchange generator after coffee. While everyone talks about tech startups and crypto, Ethiopia is building wealth through growing beautiful things. The Netherlands pays Ethiopia's flower growers premium prices because they can produce year-round what European farms grow seasonally. In 2021, the Netherlands alone imported 157 million worth of Ethiopian flowers. Now, one thing with the flower business is that it is one of the smartest businesses out there, because you are taking something that costs almost nothing to produce, because they grow basically from what? Seeds, sunlight, and maybe water, and turning it into a product that wealthy people pay premium prices for during emotional moments. But there's another side. Critics worry about water usage. Rose production uses about 10 liters of water per flower in a region facing climate challenges. There are concerns about long working hours, pesticide exposure, and whether these jobs truly lift people from poverty. So that's a heated debate people are having right now, but here's what nobody's talking about. This entire industry exists because we are moving from an economy based on making things to creating experiences and emotions. A rose, for instance, that costs 10 cents to make sells for $3 on Valentine's Day. That's not because the rose is valuable, it's what it represents. So Ethiopia has figured out how to industrialize emotions. So this proves Africa can compete not just on price, but on quality, timing, and emotional value. So while development experts focus on mining and manufacturing, Ethiopia found a way to dominate a 30 billion euro global industry by finding their own lane. Now, the most interesting part is the fact that what's happening in Ethiopia is spreading across Africa. So aside from Kenya that had been in flowers for a while now, we've got Uganda, Rwanda, Zimbabwe, and even Tanzania. And Zambia are following this model, each finding their specialty. Uganda focuses on sweetheart roses, while Rwanda develops orchids. Ethiopian Airlines now operate over 36 global flights, partly serving flower exports. This infrastructure is attracting investments in other time-sensitive industries like fresh vegetables and pharmaceuticals. For diaspora investors, this represents something unique, proven, profitable industries already scaling across African countries. So here's the challenge. I want us to stop looking at African development in terms of what Africa lacks. Let's rather think of what Africa can uniquely provide. Ethiopia turned sunshine and women's hands into a $500 million industry. The flower industry proves African country can identify global opportunities and create wealth. Remember that our lovely proverb I always use. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. Ethiopia understood this and didn't go alone. They built partnerships with airlines, European buyers, and standards organizations. They actually went together and they are going. The next time you see a rose, remember Ethiopia took a desert and turned it into a garden feeding romantic dreams worldwide. Ethiopia's flower power proves Africa can bloom anywhere, anytime, when we think differently about what's possible. So what will you grow? Hit the subscribe button if you actually found value in this video and endeavor to share it with as many people as possible. For as I always say, the more we empower Africans, the greater Africa will be. And I would love to know, right, according to you, what other impossible industries can Africa dominate? Let me know in the comment section, as I'll see you in my next one.